Hi Cancer, welcome to June. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. And before I start your reading, I want to call in some good energy. So this month we have a new moon in Gemini and a full moon in Capricorn. Well, the new moon in Gemini is an eclipse on June 10th. And then the full moon in Capricorn is on the 24th. And that's falling in your 7th house of relationships. Venus moves into Cancer, your sign. So this is a good month for love for you. Mars moves into Leo, Jupiter goes retrograde, Mercury goes direct, and Neptune goes retrograde until December at the end of the month. So let's see what Cancer needs to know about love and relationships for the month of June 2021. What does Cancer need to know about love and relationships for the month of June 2021? What does Cancer need to know? Okay, let's see what we get. The Hermit, the Two of Swords, the Moon, the Strength card, the Four of Swords, the Page of Wands, the Page of Swords, the Hangman, the Temperance, and the Judgment. And the card at the bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. Okay, so we start out with the Hermit and the Two of Swords. So you've been kind of doing a lot of soul searching. The Hermit's a card of taking time out to think about, where is my life going? What do I really want? What do I need in a relationship to be happy? It's not even just relationship. I think in life in general. I think you're just evaluating where you are and where you want to go. And what is it that I need? So I feel like you've been in this healing mode. You have the Two of Swords here. So there could be a relationship that you want. Either you had a falling out with someone or you're not communicating with someone that you're interested in. Because the Two of Swords energy is someone who's on the fence, just trying to decide what to do. It's almost like two people are interested, but each person's waiting for the other person to make the first move. So you're waiting for them, they're waiting for you, and nothing's happening. And part of it is because you're trying to make a decision, you're not sure what to do. Like you're kind of, I don't know, maybe you're overthinking things. Should I do this? Should I do that? Especially since you have the Page of Swords here. Maybe you don't know how to approach the person, and you're waiting. You want them to make it easy for you by reaching out to you. You have the Moon card here in the past, so you might be letting your imagination run away with you, where you're like imagining all kinds of problems, like, oh, if I do this, what if that happens, if I do that? Like you're not seeing things clearly with the Moon. And with this Two of Swords energy, at some point you're going to have to make a decision. And this is a time card, so I feel like you are going to come out of that state of indecision within a month or so. And I think you're going to realize, like, if I don't take action, nothing's going to happen. I think that's what's going to happen. So you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to take action about this relationship, one way or another. You have the Six of Swords here and the Strength card. So you might be confronting your own issues this month, too. I feel like you're dealing with a lot of demons or fears. Maybe even because the Strength card is the card of learning how to control your emotions, not going to extremes of emotions, learning how to control your anger even. Maybe you've had issues in the past with anger, how to release my anger in healthy ways. Sometimes the Strength card has to do with psychological counseling. Like you really could use some counseling because you may have a deep-seated insecurity or low self-esteem that needs to be worked on. So I feel that you might not be seeing things clearly this month So it may not even be a good time for making a decision, but at some point, by the time this month is over, I think you're going to be in a better place. You have the Six of Swords here, and that's a card of moving out of a difficult situation, navigating through difficulty, and moving toward greater harmony at the other end. But it also involves communication. So I feel like communication is going to be important. If you're having any kind of conflict or within a current relationship or indecision about a potential relationship, communication is going to be your friend. And you have the Four of Swords here. So I feel like you've been kind of in a hermit mode, isolating yourself from people, not really reaching out to people, because I think you've been kind of healing. You've been going through a healing time. And this is going to end. The Four of Swords energy is someone who's taking a time out, who's resting, who's healing from the past. And you probably are evaluating, sometimes with the Hermit, you have these two cards, so you might even be talking to a counselor or talking to a friend whose advice you respect about what to do, what to decide, how to move forward. Now, with the Four energy, you are going to come out of that period of isolation. Things are going to start to move. And I feel like the time card I'm getting from this reading is within a month, you're going to start to become more active. Now, in the near future, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands energy is getting a message that gives you hope, that brings good news. Could be from a fire sign. You have the Page of Swords here in your negative thinking sector. So you know that this is a card of checking things out, looking deeply, looking beneath the surface, and not so. If you're hearing gossip, because this is also a card of gossip and spying, and you might be hearing stories that may not be true. So you want to go to the source. If you hear any kind of gossip or you hear any information and you're not sure if it's true or not, go to the source. Don't just believe what you hear. Another way this card can play out is having to have a difficult conversation. Like maybe you need to make the move, or you may need to call someone, but you're feeling awkward about it, or you're afraid of it. You're afraid of the conversation because you may have difficult things to say to this person, and you don't know how do I begin? What do I do? What do I say? In your environment, you have the Hangman. This is a card of giving something up for something better, for moving, making a sacrifice. So for some of you, you might be thinking of leaving one relationship and moving on to a better one. Or you're making a decision, should I stay or should I go? What should I do? You may feel like things have been in kind of like in a holding pattern, like you're in limbo. So you've had to have a lot of patience. I feel like you've just needed some time out to heal. And you're going to start coming out of that healing mode and being more ready to take action, to make a decision. You have the Strength card here the Temperance card in your wish fulfillment sector. That's about finding work-life balance. Like if you want, if you have a goal that you're trying to achieve in a relationship, you may have to meet the person halfway. Like that's about bringing two people together, or bringing two energies together and finding a balance between the energies, not going to extremes, learning to see things from another person's perspective, finding a middle ground or a compromise. So if you're having a challenge in a relationship, maybe you have to create some kind of win-win, like give certain things up, make some, concessions to the other person so that you're both getting your needs met. If one of you has been too focused on work and been neglecting the relationship, that could be part of the problem. So to get what you want, you may have to find more work-life balance, make time for love, make time for relationship. You have as an outcome card, the Judgment. This is a card of rebirth and renewal. And it's also a card of forgiveness. So maybe there's someone in your life you need to forgive. Not that you're saying that what that person did was okay. It's just that you're releasing it. You're not going to hold on to it. and you're going to try to work out, have that conversation, a healing conversation that can bring greater harmony into the relationship. And it may not be an easy conversation. It may be difficult, but it's something that needs to happen. The Judgment is also a card of waking up and realizing, hey, I've got to work on me. I can't worry about, what the other person's doing. I've got to work on me, and I've got to feel stronger within myself. And if my life's going to change, it's like seeing the truth and knowing where you have to make changes. And that might involve like working on psychological issues, working on escapist issues, working on overthinking, learning how to communicate, not being so isolated, because Cancer has a tendency, when they're hurt or when they're afraid of something, or they're upset about something, they crawl into their shell and they isolate. And, it's like they don't reach out for help. They don't reach out for people. And they may be surrounded by people and support, but they're like, no, I'm nursing my wound. I'm just going to be crawling in this cave. So I think you're going to come out of your cave this month. And you're going to find that the work that you've been doing on yourself is working, and you're feeling stronger. You're going to start to feel stronger. And with the Judgment card, your needs are changing. So some of the things that you were okay with in the past are not going to be okay anymore. Some of the things that, that you may have wanted in the past, you have new needs and new desires. And so the Judgment often comes up when you make a change, when you make a conscious effort to change your life by either leaving a relationship or leaving a job. It's like, I see the truth now, I know what I have to do, and I'm going to do it. So this is going to be a time of waking up and moving out of that isolation and moving toward what you really want and something that's a better fit for you. So let's see what the astrology has to say. So the new moon eclipse in Gemini is happening in your 12th house. That's the house of psychological issues. So that's on June 10th. I feel like you're going to have a chance for a new start to deal with these issues. I mean, it kind of fits the cards. And you have Mercury Retrograde conjunct this new moon. And it's an eclipse. So something is ending in your life. Especially in the 12th house. The 12th is a house of end. You're completing a cycle. So, and especially with eclipse, a new moon eclipse is a ending, can sometimes be an ending followed by a new beginning. And it's a solar eclipse. So there could be a male figure that gets eclipsed from your life. Some of you might be walking away from a relationship or a friendship. It can also mean that with the 12th house that you come to some kind of realization or awakening, and you're solving some psychological issue that has held you back, or you're seeing the truth about a hidden enemy, because sometimes the 12th house is hidden enemies, but it's usually, self-sabotage, our blind spots and how we self-sabotage ourselves, how we work against ourselves. And it's usually some psychological issue that we're not able to see, or we're misinterpreting, or, we have blind spots. I feel like you're going to come to an awakening in this area, and it's going to help you to release that baggage, to release those blind spots and the blocks that have been holding you back from achieving a goal. And you have an opportunity for a new beginning, a new cycle coming in. Especially with Mercury retrograde, you might be going back to some past issues. Maybe you might be even connecting with some people from the past and getting some kind of closure, having some type of communication. Maybe you hear from someone that you haven't talked to in a while, and you have some issues between you that need to be worked out. You need to have some closure. Now, this Mercury retrograde is squaring Neptune, and you have Neptune in the 9th house. So there's something, the 9th house has to do with higher education, long-distance travel, belief systems. So when Mercury squares Neptune, you could be seeing things in a dark way, or a confusing way, like you're confused about what you believe, or you're confused about communication that you're receiving. Like you're not sure if someone's telling you the truth. You're not sure what to believe. Communication can be muddled. There could be misunderstandings. So that's why it's so important to go to the source and to communicate. Communication is going to be really important at this eclipse because it's in Gemini. It's about telling your story, communicating, speaking up. Don't keep things hidden. You have Saturn in the 8th house, and this moon is trining Saturn. So I feel like this is going to be like a psychological breakthrough month for you, where you're going to finally see how you've been holding yourself back, how you've been sabotaging your chances, at how you've been keeping people away, not, maybe have a fear of intimacy. And Venus is going to be moving into Cancer at the beginning of the month. When Venus crosses your ascendant, that can usually bring new love into your life, or you're feeling more open to love. So you could either patch up a relationship that's been going through problems, or if you're not in a relationship, it could bring a new one in. And this Venus is sextile Uranus. And Uranus is in your 11th house. That's the house of friendships and the groups that you belong to. So a friend can turn into a romance. Friendship can turn into romance at this time. You can meet people through the friends that you know or groups that you belong to. That would be a good place. And it could be an unexpected thing. You might just be something that just pops up unexpectedly, like feelings just develop unexpectedly. Because Uranus is like a quick energy, and it's a surprising energy. You might even hear from someone you never expected to hear from, or bump into somebody that you never expected to connect with. Mars is in Cancer right now. It's been going through your first house. It's going to oppose Pluto before Mars moves into Leo and into your second house. It's going to oppose Pluto. So there could be some power struggles in relationships at the end. Mars moves into Leo on June 12th. So just before it does that, and just around this eclipse, there could be a power struggle in a relationship. And there could be a lot of anger. Mars and Pluto energy is very volatile in a sense of, it's like, there's power. It's about power. Who has the power? So don't let yourself be bullied. Don't let yourself be manipulated in a relationship. And don't use those tactics yourself. There could be anger, repressed anger involved if you have a conflict with someone. So it's better to just be honest, not go to extremes of emotion. Don't let yourself be reactive. Just communicate and as calm as a way, and try to find some kind of workable agreement if you want to preserve the relationship. Mars is also trining Neptune. So this would be good if you want to travel, if you're thinking about exploring, getting out of town, maybe visiting a foreign country, or if you're thinking about teaching or learning, picking up new skills, going back to school. That's a good thing. You're being supported by Mars and Neptune. When Mars moves into, let me do Chiron. Chiron is in your 10th house. So there could be and it's sextile Saturn in your 8th house. Is it in your 8th house? Yeah, your 8th house. So there could be with Chiron, you could decide to Chiron's the wounded healer. So you may decide to change your career path to something more of a healing profession, where you're healing wounds that you've already experienced. Like you've been wounded in a certain way, so it gives you a special insight into how to help others heal that same wound. So you could be shifting your career into one that's more of a healer, because Cancer is the sign of the healer. So you may be getting more involved with healing. And because it's sextile Saturn in the 9th, you could be developing some kind of marketing campaign, or you could be reaching out to a global market. You could be developing a website, or dealing with teaching or communicating your knowledge or wisdom. At some point, Mars is going to move into Leo. Let's see. Mars moves into Leo on the 12th, and that'll be in your second house. So your expenses may rise a little bit. And then we have the full moon in Capricorn, which is happening in your relationship sector. So you have the full moon in the 7th house. So by the time, and that's on the 24th of June. And this full moon is sextile Jupiter, and Jupiter's in the 9th. So whatever you're doing, if you decide to travel, or if you decide to start a partnership with someone that involves traveling, teaching, learning, it has the potential to be, you're having opportunities. There's opportunities to learn, there's opportunities to teach. Something may be completing around a relationship. It doesn't have to be an ending. It could be that you reach some kind of understanding and you decide to form a partnership that's going to be in place for a while. Venus will be opposing Pluto in your first house. So there could be some power struggles in love, possible manipulation. You want to watch out for that. Possibly with female people in your life. So you don't want to don't be the victim, play the victim. Don't fall under somebody's bullying tactics. Someone tries to bully you. There is going to be a T-square between Mars in Leo, Saturn in Aquarius, and Uranus in Taurus. And that's going to involve your second house of money. Mars will be in the second house, Saturn will be in the 8th house, and Uranus is in the 11th. So you may have a power struggle, or you may feel blocked by an authority figure if you're trying to get funding for something, or you're trying to create, because the Uranus in the 11th is about manifesting a hope or a wish or a dream, or working with a group of people. You're trying to make the world a better place. There's tension in the financial houses. So Mars opposed by Saturn in your financial houses, you may feel like you don't have the money to achieve this goal, and you have to, try to get some financial support from either a partner or from some type of funding, and there could be some conflict around that. And that's going to be at the end of the month. And you may have to try some innovative ways of, you might have to reach out to friends as a way to break the conflict. Or you may have to come up with a unique way of resolving the conflict. Let's see. Venus is trining Neptune. So Venus, you have Neptune in your 12th house, in your 9th house. I feel like if you're involved in something where you're dealing with teaching or learning or even publishing, that's going to be positive for you. You could achieve a goal. Like if you always wanted to teach something, always wanted to create a blog or a website or reach out to a global market, you can do this now with this Venus trine Neptune. Anything creative is going to be favored by the Venus trine Neptune. But you're going to have this Pluto opposition. So there's going to be, you might have to compromise with people who, if somebody holds the purse strings, you might be butting heads and needing to compromise over the financials. Mercury will go direct on June 22nd. Mercury has been in your 12th house. So you have been revisiting 12th house issues. That's, you might be tying up loose ends when it comes to some psychological issues, or it could be also you're dealing with hospitals and institutions. When Mercury goes direct, things will be a lot clearer, and Neptune will go retrograde right after that on the 25th. So whatever goal you're trying to achieve, you're going to get some clarity by the end of the month. You're going to know what you want to do. Things might be confusing now with the Mercury retrograde. There might be misunderstandings, miscommunications. Everything's like slowing down, like you may not be able to get things started at the time that you wanted to start them. But by the end of the month, I feel like you're going to be in a better place and things are going to start to move. And you're going to feel different too. I feel like you're coming out of a dark time or a confusing time. And you're going to have greater clarity toward the end of the month. And you're going to know which direction to go in. And you're going to feel like you're reborn, like you're having a rebirth, like you're coming out, you're recreating yourself. You're coming out of a dark time and you're moving into a brighter time, but not without making some changes and not without speaking up and taking action. So you have to you're going to get off the fence this month, Cancer, and you're going to take action, but it's going to lead to freedom. And you're going to feel like I'm making positive changes in my life. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, leave a comment below or click on the like button or the subscribe button. If you'd like a private reading, click on the link in the description box, and we can do a reading based on your specific situation. In the meantime, I just want to say thank you for those who've been supporting my channel. And if you're having a birthday, an early birthday in June, the end of June, happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful June, and I will talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.